Let's bring in our contributor and also former FBI agent Brad Garrett now. So Brad, let's just talk about all the multiple agencies, and this is what happens in a situation like this. You've got the FBI, the ATF, the Marshals, all of that involved in this manhunt. Kind of talk to us about how this will play out. I know it'll be 24/7, and no doubt if he's already abandoned his car, will they be looking at the waterways, deep into the woods? Tell us what you know.
So what you have to do is take all of these agencies and work them out of one command post. So everyone's clear about what they're doing. Who's going to grid search certain parts of the woods? Who's going to run the aviation unit, which is probably helicopters and planes, some with heat-seeking devices to see if they can see a body moving around in the woods. Also, planes a little higher up with binoculars in areas where they can see to see if they can spot him on the ground so they can send the tactical units in. But it's, you know, everybody lays down sort of what agency they work for, and it's all sort of a common goal of we've got to find this guy and hopefully take him to custody or just stop him, if that's what it amounts to. It takes a lot of coordination, and you also have to feed those people intelligence as you get it, because it can alter what they're doing and where they're doing it. So I've been in these command posts before. I mean, they're really, really hectic, but you've got to keep them going, and you've got to get the information out as you get it in. And I'm going to guess that as we move afternoon into evening, if he's not deceased, that they may well possibly find him. Now, I say that with a caveat of, is he still in the search perimeter? Because as you well know, in that upstate New York prison escapee that we talked about for several days, he kept getting out of the search zone, and that's why they couldn't find him. They were looking in the wrong place. So you always have to be cognizant of that when you do these things.
Just to get your insight on the whole mental health situation, you and I well know when things like this have gone down, you usually find out that there's been some sort of mental health record, either therapy or family members knew, or they had maybe been checked out for a day or two. But he was in a facility for 2 weeks. And he made threats. He was very vocal about voices in his head and things that he wanted to do that weren't right. I'm just curious, you know, give us some background or some context to how he would have been allowed to be released, you know, after 2 weeks.
So, to Aaron's point, we don't know how he got there. There is some reporting, I'm not saying it's accurate, that he voluntarily went into 2 weeks of treatment and evaluation. Assuming some version of that is true, then they would run all sorts of tests, stick him in therapy. Some psychiatrists would do an analysis of his, you know, his mental health stability, maybe even give him a diagnosis. I mean, this happens every day with people, Kara. The idea is, if he voluntarily went there, they can only hold him for so long. You'd have to get a court order to keep him beyond, let's say, the 2 weeks. During those 2 weeks, they may have put him on medication and had conversations with him about delusions or whatever it is in his head that's telling him what to do. You know, what are some of those things? Is it a threat towards a particular location or person? And then they're going to let him go. I'll tell you, the failing of the system is that nobody keeps up with those people like I would define keeping up with them. And so what happens is they go back into the community and they just sort of disappear. And maybe he's some version of that.
And have we heard anything about extended family or relatives, or because so far as I've been scanning through, we're not hearing much with regard to anybody that was close to him or knew him very well?
Yeah, that part I don't know. There was early reporting last night, again, I don't know if it's accurate, that some family member called the police to identify him. Now, maybe that's after they knew who he was based on locating the car. I just don't know. That'll be an interesting component, because intelligence in looking for people is to do extensive interviews of relatives or people close to them or people they live with, boyfriends, girlfriends, etc., to get pieces of information about where they would go if, in fact, they were on the run. For example, is there a cabin someplace or a lake he likes to go to, someplace that has meaning to him? Because people tend to go or they have a history.
Well, we're going to keep tracking the manhunt. Brad Garrett, always great to have you. Thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.